So, in order to make it convenient for all the classes, object class defines certain general utility methods. General utility methods means certain type of methods which may be useful for all Java classes created in for Java programs. So, for any class, it may be library class like math class, or it may be a user defined class like a student, a room, employee. For all those classes, the at the top level, at the root level, object is there. So whatever methods it defines and all that, every Java class automatically inherits it. That you have to understand. However, this point many times I will explain. If you have any ambiguity about this, I cannot explain it briefly, and just I am giving a simple idea. Object class is at the top like this. Whatever methods object class defines, every Java class automatically inherits it. How you are able to use your father's property or father's property, object class method can be used by any Java class. That you can understand. This object class provides one method called clone. Clone means it is useful for cloning. Cloning means deep copying. It creates a duplicate, not alias. Duplicate is different, alias is different. This is alias. One object, these are aliases. One is R1, R2. Your name is Mohan, and your family members may call you as Nani. So, Nani is the alias, but one person, two names. Like that, this is shallow copying. But it is not shallow copying. This is a duplicate thing. Clone is created for that purpose. S1 actually which duplicate you wanted? S1 duplicate. So S1 dot clone. This clone is not belong to square. It inherited from object class. How it can inherit it? It is like a forefather. Then from its forefather, rightfully it has taken. And in that way you have to write. Clone method is useful for cloning the same object in which with which it is linked. Thereafter, one more requisite is there. Which type of class you require, you should typecast it. This is also essential prerequisite. Now, which type of class you want, that you are typecasting it. Now, square S2 and this is created. This practically we see, and then you can understand. Only two prerequisites. One is at the header, you have square class implements clonable. That code you have to write. Thereafter, this is the code. Then you can clone. If you want to test, you can test also. Now, S1 class you see 10. S2 class also S2 dot S2 dot side. S1 dot side you write 10 comes. S2 dot sign also you write 10 comes. One more experiment you make. S2 dot side is equal to 20 you make. You are reassigning value. Then thereafter S1 dot side also you write. Then it is not 20, it is 10. But in this case, R2 dot L 15 is there. R2 dot L 20 you make. R2 dot length 20 you make. Then you write R1 dot length, that is also 20. Because here these are not duplicates. Duplicate references. One kite, two strings. But in this case, two different kites. That's why if you assign 20 S2 20 for S2 side, S1 side remains at 10 only. By that proof you can understand that both are different objects, a duplicate or clone or deep copying was made. And thereafter, as I told you already, array is also one of the classes, one of the objects. So for cloning, same principles are applicable and the same methodology you have to use. For that also I want to show you for syntax sake. List 1, this is the list 1 array. List 2, what you have to do? List 1, why list 1? You want to clone list 1 as list 2. List 1 dot clone. Thereafter, which type of array you require? The type. The type. The type you must write. Typecasting is required. Then list 2 different object is created. Here also you can make an experiment. What experiment you make? List 2 0. List 2 0. You assign 20. You assign 100. You assign 100 and write. You get 100. And list 1 0 you write. It remains at 10 only. Understand? So by that you can get a proof. One thing I am telling you, if you have to own any concept, you must be convinced 100%. Until unless you convince with the concept, you never be comfortable, you cannot own it. Understand? That point you remember. And strings. Actually, strings also objects. But string class objects are also objects. But there is a special status for strings. Already explained in the 8th chapter, strings, strings and characters. Those points you have to recollect. And once again, I am telling you, string name 1 Amar, string name 2 name 1. Actually, for storing strings, separate memory pool is created. It is on the heap only, but it is because of the immutable nature of the strings, a separate memory location is created. It is called string pool. On string pool, one object, one time only it is created. Suppose Amar is one object, string object. One time, you may create it 100 times, but it is linked up like this. Now, this is linked up like this. Suppose you have written string S5 Amar. String S5 also refers to this Amar only. Only one Amar is created for the same case, same spelling. Understand? That point always you remember. Otherwise, string name 3 Amar. Here case is different. Then another object is created. Suppose for Amar, all capital, 4 letters, all capital, then only one object is created and you may create 100 references. By that way, the memory is used optimum in an optimum manner. This point also already explained why string pool is created. All that, one thing at a time, I cannot explain all the points because of certain reasons. I don't want to overburden you. That's why contextually enrich, layer by layer, you add to your knowledge and one day you crystallize that. Okay, that point you remember. And but one thing you must remember, these are a different type of simple initialization of strings. But dynamically, if you create string, that means dynamically means by using new operator. Now it is created on heap, not on string pool. So now we see name 1, name 2, new. Same spelling you have given, but on heap, this is a one object, this is another object. On string pool only, for n number of object reference also, one object will be there. But dynamically, if you create that using new, see, content may be same. 100 variables if we create, 100 reference we create, 100 Amars maybe are created. That point you have to understand. And one more thing I have to tell you, all Java classes may not support cloning. So particular class, some classes do not support cloning. Then if you want to make cloning, one exception is thrown. What is that? Clone not support exception. clone not support exception is thrown. That's why blindly you should not go for cloning. Whenever cloning is required, what should you do? First, whether it supports it or not. Huh? If it is support, first you have to assert it. After realizing that it supports cloning, then only you have to go for cloning. And finally, one very, very important point I have to explain to you, and you may take some time to understand it fully. However, it is my responsibility to introduce that point. Actually, in cloning also, the clone method make shallow copying only as far as object reference are concerned. As far as primitives are concerned, in an object, primitives are there, simply those are copied. As far as strings are there, strings are copied, there is no problem at all. As far as other object references are there and all that, shallow copying only is made. Suppose this is S1, this is S2. In that, one object reference is there, then shallow copying is made into S2. That point you have to understand. And if you don't understand it fully, don't worry about that. In future, in forthcoming chapters, you can understand that. So, these are the points. Meticulously, you must understand each and every point. Finally, I recommend you, as a mentor, you write your own notes in your own words, and wherever you have a doubt, you write a simple test program and try. Once you study one concept, you must master that concept, no tomorrow. And in certain cases, you may not learn it fully, and in future date, one concept may be relevant, then you can learn further and crystallize the concept. This is the strategy of learning Java.